I'll test Mercedes' new 500 SL, but first here's Ted with Suzuki's Swift Sedan.
If there's one thing that Canadian motorists demand, is that their four-door sedans have a trunk. Like Honda, Volkswagen, and Toyota before them, Suzuki has now discovered this and recently introduced their new Swift sedan, which will eventually replace the Swift four-door hatchback. Starting next year, Suzuki will begin phasing out the four-door hatchback because, in their own words, Canadians prefer a more traditional four-door sedan when it comes to compact, utility-oriented vehicles. And, as usual, Suzuki has done an excellent job in upgrading the Swift. They've managed to add a nicely proportioned trunk without detracting from the car's overall flavor. This is still an economy sedan, but now it's one that'll carry a lot more cargo than before. In fact, this rather modest-looking addition has an impressive 282 liters of cargo capacity, slightly more than the Toyota Tercel Coupe or Volkswagen Fox. Power is provided by Suzuki's tried-and-true 1.3-liter overhead cam fuel-injected four-cylinder, which develops a healthy 70 horsepower at 6,000 RPM. This is the same power plant found in the Swift hatchback and can deliver a remarkable 4.9 liters per 100 kilometers or 60 miles per gallon on the highway. And city fuel economy is no less impressive, 6.4 liters per 100 kilometers or 45 miles per gallon. You can have any transmission you want as long as it's a 5-speed manual or 4-speed automatic. Our test car was equipped with a 5-speed. I've always liked this drivetrain, and even with the extra 88 pounds of trunk sheet metal, this is still a lively, well-powered econobox. But it's not a little car. Interior elbow room is excellent for a vehicle of this size. I've been in so-called intermediate cars that have less breathing space. Back seat room in particular is excellent. Plenty of leg room and headroom, and you can fold the rear seat back to carry skis, 2x4s, or whatever. I do like the way Suzuki lay out their interiors. Plenty of stowage space in this console-mounted bin and in the door pockets. It'd be nice if there was a restraining lift running along this dashboard shelf, but nothing's perfect, and it is an under $10,000 automobile after all. This ceiling-mounted clock is a nice feature, and you can get remote mirrors on the GLX version. In fact, our GLX also came with power door locks of all things. Not exactly standard equipment on cars in this price bracket. In fact, I'm hard-pressed to find fault anywhere with the new Swift sedan. I suppose highway noise is a little excessive. There is a touch of torque steer during acceleration. The gear shift mechanism could be a little more refined, and I'd like it better if the window winders were easier to get at. But hey, what do you want for 10 grand? And just to put icing on the cake, the Swift sedan is built in Canada, in Ingersoll, Ontario. This is a hotly contested market segment, and the Swift sedan will be competing against the likes of the Hyundai Excel, Volkswagen Fox, Isuzu I-Mark, Daewoo Optima, and Ford Escort. I think we have a new king of the under $10,000 market here, Tom.
Well, we could have. I like Suzukis. I'm always recommending them to people, so I must approve of them. I prefer hatchbacks. I've always been a hatchback fan. For some reason, hatchbacks don't seem to sell very well in North America. It's very, very roomy, amazingly roomy. I can sit in the back at over 6 feet. I can sit in the back quite happily, and my head doesn't touch the roof, which is pretty good. It's a little bit noisy, a little econo-box-ish. But we'll forgive them that. They're mostly like that in this price range anyway.
Yeah, well, you won't do any better than that for under $10,000. I don't know why you prefer a hatchback. This thing has much more room. If you fold the seat down and fill the trunk up, you'll get a pile of stuff in this
As long as it's a long, narrow load. I mean, if you want to put a chair or a piece of furniture or something or a small chest into there, you'll have real trouble with the trunk.
Well, I guarantee you won't get a chair or a chest into the Swift hatchback either.
Well, it's pretty good. It's a pretty big aperture when you open the hatchback. For some reason, North Americans have always associated hatchbacks with economy and cheapness, and that's wrong. I mean, in Europe, in Europe, hatchbacks are the big sellers.
Well, for me, you know, one of the things I like about a notchback is the safety factor. If you get rear-ended in a hatchback, especially one of this caliber, if you're in the back seat or anybody else, you're going to be in serious trouble. If you've got a bit of trunk between you and the collision, at least your chances are a little bit better. That alone would do it.
I don't know whether I agree with that. I think the crushability factor that's built into hatchbacks is just about as good, really. I mean, you've got a slightly bigger crush zone, but the wheelbase is pretty well the same.
You've got to be kidding. If a pickup truck hit the back of the Swift hatchback, you'd have about that much space between you and oblivion. At least with the notchback, you've got, well...
Yeah, but with a heavy load you put in the back of your hatchback, you wouldn't have to bother about that, Ted.
Well, you put a heavy load in there, but...
No, I like hatchbacks. I sometimes wonder why manufacturers bother to go this route. I really do. They've probably got their reason. I think the same thing about the Golf and the Jetta. The Jetta is nowhere near as roomy as a Golf hatchback.
Hold it. You can get more in a Jetta than you can in a Golf. The numbers tell the tale.
No, I don't agree.
You can. If you fold the back seat down again and fill the trunk up, you'll get...
It's not just a matter of cubic capacity, it's the shape. If you're trying to get, for example, I often put a bicycle in the back of a hatchback. You can get a bicycle, some hatchbacks, the whole bicycle without taking the wheels out. Some you just take one wheel out. You try and get a bicycle even into a big car's trunk.
Well, first of all, I wouldn't put a bicycle in my car because I'd probably rip the upholstery. But if I did, and I put it into a notchback, I don't mind the fact that I can't close the trunk. I give you that I wouldn't be able to close the trunk, but it wouldn't be enough for me not to buy the vehicle.
Well, hatchbacks have always been my favorites.
Okay, well, we don't agree. To sum up, what don't we like about this car? Torque, steer, and road noise are slightly pronounced, but this is not a major problem. I want to add that. On the other hand, this car is very, very good for cargo space. Tony and I seem to part company here, but I like the way that the cargo is in this thing. Interior room is fantastic. This is a big car inside. Drivetrain, I've always liked this drivetrain.